and welcome.
I have to turn that towards you a little bit to make sure you get it.
This one's not as... Good evening and welcome to the Town of Stratford public meeting tonight, Wednesday, March 23rd. My name is Jill Burridge. I'm the chair of the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee. And tonight we have a couple of things that we are taking to the public for feedback. We have several text amendments to the Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45. They've been identified. One is to bring childcare facility up to date with the PEI, Government Early Learning and Childcare Act. Minor text amendments are required to aid in clarification to section 11.3.7, medium density residential zone, R2, for lot coverage, and other text amendments bringing updated language to improve the Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45. Pursuant to section 3 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, it is required that we hold a public meeting be held to solicit public input from our residents. A couple of notes. This public meeting was advertised in The Guardian Saturday, March 12th, 2022, and also on social media through our website, Facebook, Twitter, e-news, and Instagram. If you want to comment formally on anything in tonight's meeting, the town will accept written responses provided directly to the planning department by email or in writing until Wednesday, March 23rd. That's the wrong date. So week, March 30, is it a week?
It is, it's March 30th.
So by email or in writing, we'll take any comments to March 30th, 2022. And is there a deadline time, Kevin? Is that noon?
12 noon, down below it says 12 noon.
Okay, 12 noon, March 30th. And please note that comments provided on any social media platform are not captured as part of the written submission process. Questions this evening will be monitored and submitted to be read into the record and answered. To ask a question, please use the comment field on either YouTube or Facebook where you are viewing the live stream. As this is a public meeting, you are required to provide your name and address when asking a question. And with that, I'll hand it over to our town planner, Blaine Yatabi, for a presentation on the text amendments we're discussing tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Burridge. So these are the Zoning and Development Bylaw text amendments for today's public meeting, March 23rd, 2022. The following are proposed text amendments to the bylaw, and they're needed to, as Jill mentioned earlier, clarify lot coverage for duplex semi-detached dwellings within the R2 zone, align childcare facilities with the provincial regulations, and update home occupations to include home-based childcare facilities and clarify the number of signs permitted for home occupations. So section 11.37, the medium density residential zone, or R2, we're adding duplex or semi-detached dwelling to the subsection below, which will read, maximum lot coverage for any duplex or semi-detached dwelling, townhouse dwelling, or row house dwelling shall be 40%. The reason for that is to clarify the lot coverage requirement for the duplex and semi-detached dwellings at 40%, similar to townhouse, row homes, and similar to townhouse and row homes dwellings within the same zone. So childcare centers, we're changing the definition of childcare center to increase the number of children permitted from 50 to 80. As you can see in the definition, childcare center means an establishment that provides care and supervision for up to 80 children. We're also adding the word preschool as preschool center, as preschool is defined in the Early Childhood Regulations and Act. So we're again aligning this our town's bylaw with the Provincial Early Learning and Childcare Act and regulations. Home-based childcare facilities, we're adding the definition of home-based childcare facilities, and it allows for the care and supervision up to 8 children. So that's also, previously it said 7, so again, we're bringing it up to the provincial regulations. So childcare facility, we're moving this definition. It's redundant. It's now captured in the home-based childcare facility. And neighborhood childcare facility, we're removing this definition also because it says care and supervision for up to 7 and 15 children. As stated earlier, the provincial acts and regulations do not allow for any care more than 8 in a residence So this is incorrect, and we're removing it. So in summation, childcare is proposed to be classified in two categories. Childcare facility home-based, it's any secondary use where the occupant provides care and supervision for up to 8 children. And also childcare center is an establishment that provides care and supervision for up to 80 children. So in the residential zone, the summary, in the residential zone, the summary is home-based childcare facilities, 8 children or less, permitted use within most residential zones, and childcare centers up to 80 children, special permitted use, meaning it will have to go in front of council within most residential zones. The rationale for that is accommodate a blend of uses where appropriate. So it's highly unlikely that somebody would have a childcare center with 78 children. It would have to go in front of council. There would be a decision made. We went through a lot of the inventory of the town, and those childcare centers are generally not suited for a residential zone, but they are allowed. But again, because it is now a special permitted use, we'll have to go in front of council. So mixed use zone summary, home-based childcare, 8 children and less, it's permitted within most mixed use zones and the town center mixed use and Mason Road mixed use. And again, it's to accommodate a blend of uses where appropriate. Commercial zone, sorry about that. The other mixed use zone is, with that is childcare centers up to 80. So it's permitted within most mixed use, TCMU and MRMU. So the commercial zone summation, home-based childcare facilities is a permitted use within neighborhood commercial. But most uses within the commercial zone do not permit semi or single detached dwellings. So it's limited. I'm sorry about that. This piece of paper keeps pushing that forward, so I'm just going to move it to the side here. So commercial zone, childcare centers up to 80. They're also permitted within most commercial zones, and it will also be a special permitted use within the neighborhood commercial. So for the agricultural zone, it is permitted within the Ag Reserve Zone, home-based childcare facilities, 8 children or less. And then this zone does permit single dwellings currently, and it will allow home-based childcare facilities because some residents of the existing homes in the Ag Zone may want to have a childcare facility. So childcare centers up to 80 are not permitted in the Ag Zone. The official plan encourages preservation of ag land, so this type of land use is not supported. Institutional zones, home-based childcare facilities, 8 children and less. It's permitted within all institution zones. Childcare centers up to 80 children. It is also permitted with all institution zones. For home occupations 8.29, we're updating the home occupation section and requiring home-based childcare facilities as a type of home occupation to have. And then also we're also adding floor area. We're excluding home-based childcare facilities to the requirements of the floor area where it's shall not be more than 25% of the combined floor area or 50 square meters or 538, whichever is less. The reason for that is home-based childcare facilities sometimes may need more room or more area than what is permitted right now. So in home-based occupations, 8.291F, we're adding home-based childcare facilities because this ensures it's a home occupation. It ensures that they're kept to single dwellings or semi-detached. And operators can, when they apply to the province, they will have to provide for licensing from the province, and then they'll also have to get a home-based business agreement. So for home occupations, we're adding one section on signs. It used to say, 8.291 used to say, no display shall be permitted under signs for home occupations, but we're adding, not including one on-site premise sign under 0.26 square meters. Basically, this Currently, for home occupations, one on-site premise sign is permitted, but the wording clarifies that one sign shall be permitted, which didn't say this before, and it does say this in the bed and breakfast. So having this inserted into the home occupation brings it more consistent and also prevents sign clutter. I can open the floor for questions, but I have a feeling did I skip a section? I don't think so. It's just, yeah, I think it's just what happened was when I pressed.
Did we do this is just, you just did the childcare one now, right?
Yep.
No, the very first was
At the very first of the
Okay, we did
First
that
was
one.
lot
thing was the
coverage.
lot coverage.
And then there was
and then we get
childcare.
into the childcare facilities, and then the
Okay.
last one was the signage within the home occupation.
And I went through all the different the zones. I'm just asking because I noticed that the paper here, it flipped the screens forward a couple. So I'm just wanting to make sure that I included everything.
I was following your slides along, and I think you hit all the slides.
Great, thank
Yep.
you. Okay, so now we could open the floor
Slides,
for
so I don't
questions.
know. We'll open the floor for questions. I'll give Wendy time to, usually she'll just email me with any questions that come in off social media platforms, so I'll just.
I'm just
give
going to
her
check if there's
A
anybody
couple of
online.
minutes, Kevin's going to run. Again, if anyone has questions, this language can get a little confusing. If you have any questions, by all means, contact the planning department here with questions. We talk about supplying feedback and input, but if you just have questions on this, the planning department would be more than happy to answer any questions, because it does get a little tough to follow.
Actually, it's kind of easy now, having to look at this for a while, so it's really just, keeping it in line with the updated provincial regulations.
A lot of it's just aligning it with the provincial regs. And the first one on lot coverage was just a miss in the bylaw, so we're integrating it now in the R2 zone.
Correct.
Nothing from Wendy?
No, there's only a couple people online, and no questions to be asked.
Okay.
Maybe just reemphasize that it is recorded, and people have until next Wednesday if they have questions
Yeah.
to ask.
Yeah, okay, I'm getting a head shake. So we're not getting any questions online. This is recorded. It will be made available for people to watch. So by all means, have a watch. Send any questions to the planning department. Write any written submissions to the planning department by March 30th at noon. I'll thank you, and thank you, Blaine, for your presentation, and I'll adjourn the meeting.